$30 is the price that this is gonna cost you. This is advertised as BoboVR's new M3 Mini. Although upon close inspection, it's gonna feel and look a lot like the old M1, if you remember that from the Quest 2 lineup. Been spending a good chunk of time with this thing. We're gonna be talking about it compared to the M3 Pro, of course, because that's top of the one I've been liking so far. And we're also gonna dive into some of the details, the specs about how this is a little bit customizable. But first, if you're out there and you haven't heard about this already, BoboVR has made this new M3 Mini, basically the new generation of their Elite style strap. So this is for people who really want stability over comfort. It's not to say it's not comfortable. It actually is a pretty comfortable head strap. I've actually really enjoyed my time with it so far. But the difference is with a strap like this, unlike the M3, it doesn't put the weight up here on your forehead, because some people complain with the weight up here, it lets the headset bounce around a little bit more. This one, it's just like the stock strap or even Meta's Elite strap, where the pressure lands on your cheekbones and on your forehead, and it suctions onto your face basically. And so this is one that I usually recommend these types more for people who are using their headset only for fitness, really active games, dangerous Beat Saber, anything that you're going hard in and you just don't like that if you got this M3 on, you get a bit more play when you're bouncing around. Right now, there's only the $30 edition. There's not a battery edition of this yet, but they did leave the battery pack expansion spot right there. You can even see it's got a sticker on there that shows that that's that battery kit expansion port. So we'll be messing with that a little later in the video. But first things first, I gotta tell you, versus a stock strap, this is a huge improvement. Even versus the Meta's own Elite strap, I really like this because it's got the padding on the top that makes your top of your head feel pretty comfy when it's on there. It's got this new bow design you can see right here. What they're advertising that is for is so that it no longer tries to interact with your ears, especially like the Meta Elite strap where it goes right over your ear and you can't bend it or anything. And then of course this has the same joint as before that lets you bring it up. So if you're in the middle of something and you want to pop up, you can still do that. Although I switch to mixed reality more often if I really need to, but it gives you this option. But something new about it, it no longer goes down. So it is actually able to counterbalance some of that weight in the back, especially if we switch up to a battery port on the back here. I like that about it. Something I don't like, and this is a very small nitpick, but it's just kind of random, and it might even be really hard to capture here with our lighting and cameras. The new plastic that they designed this front clip with is a slightly different color. So it's not quite the same as the Quest. It's not quite the same as their M3 line, and you just kind of notice it. It makes it look a little bit dingy, and it just looks different. It's minor, but it's something when you get it on there, you're gonna notice it the first time. You're gonna be like, why is it slightly off? But the way they design these new clasps, they are easier to swap on and off now, because it used to be that it hooked down the front and it was kind of a pain. If you remember, you had to like open the back, push it forward, grab it, pull it. Now it has a little bit of a divot right there where you pull straight out, and then the whole thing is gonna slide back and off. I like that about it. Something else that's changed, it's still got the same flexible rear head cup in the back. I was trying to swap it with this M2 that I've torn apart because I did the expansion kits and stuff. Well, I learned that the old one had a much bigger hole here and a much bigger port that went into it. And now these new ones are a fair bit smaller. They're still really nice and stable and sturdy. They click in there nice, but it's just a lot smaller. So if for some reason you thought, oh, now I have a spare rear head pad that I can replace it with, no, not anymore. It has changed. It still gives you those alternate pad swap options just like the M3. And just like the M3, I found I still like the honeycombs myself. They're a little sticky. They might drive you crazy if you don't like that. You can obviously keep using the regular pads, but I like these because if I'm going for stability, I want this stable and I want this stable too. And speaking of this, I learned really quickly how important it is to have a good facial interface though, because if you've been following the videos, I was talking about how I found this facial interface, which I didn't recommend to anybody because it has this terribly small nose hole and most people have an issue with it. It didn't bug me, but I like the fact that I could get my eyes close to lenses, get that maximum field of view. And because this M3, the pressure's on your forehead, not your face, it didn't really matter that the facial interface wasn't very comfortable. Well, suddenly, once I have this one that's now pulling the facial interface in my face, I noticed how horrible that interface is. So I swapped back to the stock one with some silicone here, put a silicone cover over it, and that was the way to go for this one for now. So if you're already not liking the stock facial interface and you're having issues with that, this strap might actually compound that issue, and it might force you to get that facial interface you really want. For 30 bucks so far, these don't deliver for a couple weeks until in January. I'm really liking this for fast and active games, and it gives you a clip here on the side, whether you're using a link cable with your PC or whether you actually add a battery adapter to it so that you can still have that held a little bit out of the way, a little bit of cable management. So speaking of, I wanna swap this out real quick and I wanna have a battery on here because this thing's feeling really good, but I do feel like it would still benefit from a little bit of counterweight in the back with that battery. So I'm gonna pull one off here and swap that really quick. And now with that modification, I'm getting a taste of what the M3 Mini is like with a battery on the back. Already, I can tell you, I like that better. Now that counterbalance weight also makes it feel like I really don't have to have the pressure on my face if I don't want to. I can leave it a little loose for comfort gaming, and then when it's sport mode, I can tighten it up a little bit and really feel it hanging on tight. An interesting thing to bring up right now, because I told you before how the BoboVR battery packs were kind of giving me trouble. Some of them were draining fast, and they weren't just giving us the battery life we looked for. In Meta's whole debacle with the Elite straps having issues and them stopping the sale and bringing them back, they messed with some stuff in the software updates. It seemed like they added a battery saver mode, and they said they were supposedly trying to fix the issue through software. We don't know what exactly happened, but I will tell you my BoboVR batteries are doing much better now. They don't seem to be having that fast drain issue. They seem to be giving me about an hour and a half, depending on the game or mixed reality. So I'm happy with how they're performing now, especially on the M3 Pro, which I love the way it feels and everything. So where I was hesitant before, I'm definitely much more towards a yes on the M3 Pro. And on the Mini, I gotta say, if you're looking for the BoboVR comfort and quality that you know, you're looking for something that's gonna be stable and hold onto your face a little bit more than a Halo style strap, this is a great Elite strap. I'm really happy with it. It's actually gonna stay on my second Quest, especially now that it's a battery mode. So I got my two side by side here, both with hot swappable batteries so I can keep them charged up and playing, at least for a long time, not forever like it used to be with the Quest 2. So if you're here, last thoughts, and you're wondering, which one? If comfort is the most important thing to you, if you've tried a PSVR before and you really liked it, I still think the M3 Pro is the way to go. Just because of where this pad is, it puts the weight up on your forehead and on the back of your head, kind of like a crown, and you don't ever get the issues here with your eyebrows and all that pressure. This is more for people who are really active, especially if you're doing stunts in VR or something, but I will say, with the way this is built, even in active gaming and moving fast, I didn't really get the red ring. It does a great job of putting the pressure on top of your head, more than putting it on your face, and only if you really tighten it down do you get that red ring. I gotta give it to BoboVR, good job again, making another head strap that I like. I do wonder why the color is a bit off, especially because it doesn't seem like the color is off on this one at all, but maybe that was just some type of plastic they really had to do that with. At this point, we got quite a few more straps for the Quest 3. I'm looking to get a Kiwi one to test out for all of you. Some of the other ones still are in testing right now that you've requested, like the Anna Pro. But let me know in the comments down below, what else do you want to see? What are you wondering about? John's about to go on vacation. I'm gonna go on a little vacation too, so the next few weeks we're gonna have a little bit less of the videos you're used to, but we'll be back in January hitting it hard. Big accessory reviews, news videos, and all that for you. So thank you so much for sticking with me for so long now, and we will see you in another reality.